the development of new systems of space travel has also begun, because now the space colonies, the different races that have been established here that came in and fully formed, have now figured out how to get off their own planets, and now they're talking to other people, getting different perspectives, and they're sharing ideas and sharing opinions. But there were also a lot of misunderstandings that went on here, especially between the hydrogen planets and cultures and the O2 cultures. Treaties were forged between star systems and races. One particular race of sentient beings, which was much more advanced in space travel, set out to explore the galaxy. That is the Alpha Draconans, the sea car. They were the very first, according to the Andromedans, to actually get off planet. And they were, at the time, the most advanced. They're an incredible race. They just have some incredibly ridiculous prejudices and biases. The Draconans themselves did not evolve as a life form in our universe. They were dumped here. They were brought here because they're just a pain. They're incredibly smart, they're incredibly psychic, they're incredible builders, but they're bullies. Their whole thing is control, domination. And because there's no race in our universe that can really beat them up and wipe them out, they don't have to choose light or dark. They're just where they are. And they've chosen the opposite polarity. They're a tough bunch. They've manipulated a lot of civilizations throughout our galaxy. They're also responsible for the 600,000-year war, which almost annihilated the human species in our galaxy. And they show very little remorse about it. Hopefully they'll be leaving soon. Well, they're Hyperborean. Basically, they're explorers. And they're also genetic engineers. They would just colonize. They would take samples. They would hang a flag and say, this belongs to us, just like we did with the moon. You know, but we weren't the first ones there. Exactly what we've done. They were explorers. And they would just go to a place, they would see what was there, they would explore it, if there were minerals that they needed, if there were other life forms, organisms, whatever it was that they needed, they took, and then when it was done, they had enough, they moved on, and just kept exploring and expanding their realm of exploration or territory.
And you said they were dumped here.
Originally they were. They were dumped in Alpha Draconis. Nobody knows exactly where they came from, and my understanding is that even in their ancient history, they don't know exactly where they came from. But they were left in Alpha Draconis because that particular system offered them the highest probability of survival. And from there, they were able to create craft, space travel. I mean, they're magnificent in what they did, and they're to be commended for what they did. But the fact that they need to control and dominate and manipulate to the degree, sorry, I have a problem with that. And so does half of the other of the galaxy. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that as a culture, they've done some incredible things, you know, and a lot of other races have learned from them as well. Their spacecraft at the time were hollowed out moons and planetoids, which they refurbished, built out, created their own internal ecosystems, and fitted with propulsion. Some of that using fuel, which is not oil like we have here, but it was some kind of a gel that was mined in their star system. And kinetic engines. The Mesozoic era, which is 245 million years ago to 65 million years ago. Earth taught history. Mesozoic means middle animals. It is the time during which the world's fauna changed drastically. Now, it didn't change before, but now suddenly it does. And great change in terrestrial vegetation. The dinosaurs evolve. Well, they show up out of nowhere. They evolve into the Triassic and then Jurassic eras, only then to become extinct. Another planet-hitting asteroid hits the Earth in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Colombia, what is now known as Colombia. Now, were they deliberate? Nobody seems to know if they were or not. But what's interesting is that every time the planet gets hit with an asteroid or there's a pole shift, there's a radical change in the Earth's ecosystem. And what happens is it becomes more and more friendly for human life. 244 million years ago, we could not live on this planet. There were just too many things out there that would have hurt us. Extraterrestrial history, 245 million years ago to 65 million years ago. Many planetary civilizations have full space travel. Interplanetary trade is extremely established, and the need for natural resources increases and causes the exploration of the galaxy by advanced sentient beings. Space travel has been in progress and trade for over 17 million Earth years at this point. 17 million years. Look at what we have accomplished in 4,000 years. And we know we've been held back, and we also know that there's technology that's been hidden from us. The most well-established star races are the C Car of Alpha Draconis, or Draco, the Orion star civilizations, and the Lyra Vega star system. Colonization is in full swing. Many planetary alliances set up rules of colonization and are now reaching further and further out into the galaxy. So here, 245 million years ago, our star brothers, okay, our ancestors, because we're the sum total of 22 of these races, our ancestors already had space travel, and they were already setting up rules of colonization amongst themselves. That's just amazing to me. The discovery of space highways. Space highways are what our scientists theorize to exist as wormholes. They're space highways. The discovery of these is made during this period. To date, 17 have been discovered in our galaxy alone. 17 wormholes. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, this is our galaxy, the little dots are the stars, and what you have are tunnels that go to different parts of the galaxy. Just to give you a little example. And it's believed, or our scientists theorize, that if you can tap into one, you're on the other end of the galaxy in almost no time, in a blink, or like the movie Stargate. Several of these connect to other galaxies. At least one of those connecting tunnels would be to the Andromedan galaxy, okay, which is over here. So you've got a hole here. Okay, now you have a way to get there in like 0 time or incredibly fast, so that it's not a situation where you get in your rocket and by the time you get to your destination, everybody's dead because of old age, because the galaxy is huge and it's expanding all the time. But as the galaxy expanded, many of these tubes of focused time, that's the Andromedan perspective of what a wormhole is. Tubes of focused time. Some of these tubes have snapped. In other words, as the galaxy expanded, there were breakages in these wormholes, or space highways. No galactic races to the present time, and this is as of 11 months ago, Earth time, knew how they were built or who built them, and they can't be repaired because we don't know how they were built. Nobody knows how they were built. There is an assumption by many that the founders created them, which is how they were able to do all of the terraforming and echo building in the galaxy in preparation for life to be introduced here. The truth is, we don't really know for sure. It could have been built by someone even before them. We don't know, because according to the Andromedans, third density as we know it is 21 billion years old. The universe that we know of, which includes all the dimensions, is 21 trillion years old in Earth years, which is a staggering number. According to Moronae and the Andromedans, only 2 of the superhighways, the wormholes, have not snapped in our galaxy. So out of the 17, 2 are still fully operational. As trade increases, the spread of life forms also takes place. The experimentation of transplanting life forms and vegetation is in full swing. Okay, now let's go back to the dates. 245 million to 65 million years ago. Our extraterrestrial ancestors are now transplanting vegetation and life forms from other systems to other star systems. The transplanting of life forms is only with life that has potential. Now, what their actual definition of that potential is, I can't tell you because I don't know. But according to Moronae, this potential can only develop in complex ecologies. And by far, the most complex ecology or ecosystem in the galaxy is O2, oxygen-based, which is what we are. Truly complex ecosystems only occur in a relatively small number of planets in the galaxy. That might be several billion planets. But when you take into account, how many suns and how many actual star systems we have, it is in fact a small amount. Even though to us, we would say 200 billion Earths out there. I mean, that's a staggering number to us. But in the big scope of things, it's actually a very small amount because the hydrogen ecosystems by far outweigh all the others. It follows that a complex ecosystem, planet-wide ecosystem, is the next most valuable thing in the universe to consciousness. Species, however, come and go, but a truly rich biosphere will endure as long as it's not compromised. Dinosaurs, birds, and other life forms, fruit trees, are brought to our solar system and transplanted on the 3 ecosystems in our solar system. They are Earth, Mars, and Uranus. All developed extraterrestrial races have already impressed on their civilizations that conservation of biospheres was and is simply a necessity. This is 245 million to 65 million years ago. The Cenozoic era, 65 million years ago to present. Earth taught history, sometimes called the Age of Mammals, because the largest land animals and mammals show up during this time. It is also the age of flowering plants, the age of insects, the age of fish, and the age of birds. Andromedan taught history. Our solar system is being visited more and more. 3 very complex ecosystems exist here already. The first full-time, self-contained biosphere called an Eden. And I'm going to use that word because that's what the Orions called it. That's what the Draco have a different language, but that's what the Orions called it. That's what the Nibiru called it. That's what the Aldebarans called it. And that's what the Pleiadians call it, an Eden, which is like a garden. It's a fully transplantable biosphere, having everything they need to exist somewhere else.